Well, folks, I'm going to be honest with you. This is kind of a tough video to make, but the next time that anyone that voted for Donald Trump or considers themselves a member of the Republican Party tells you that they are for the rule of law or that they back the blue, you can absolutely call bull on that and know that they are lying through their teeth. They've always used law enforcement and the idea of backing the blue as a stage prop, just like they have that flag behind me, just like they have the Bible that's in my drawer here, and just like they have this Constitution that lays on my desk. They use these things as stage props and ways to act holier than thou. But after all this time of saying, "Oh, Donald Trump won't pardon all the J6 people, not the violent ones. It'll just be the ones that got locked up for non-violent offenses because they went too far with it, man. They went too extreme with it. There was people just standing around there that day that just got grabbed and locked up, and that wasn't right." So that's who we're talking about. And even J.D. Vance said that, not all of them should be pardoned. And then Trump comes in and just gives a blanket pardon. That's one of the first things that he's really worried about and focused on. By the way, the war that's happening in Ukraine is still going on, by the way. That's still happening. Eggs are not cheaper. Your grocery bill is not down. There's not a free cheeseburger in your mailbox last time I looked anyway. So all these things that you thought was coming your way have not come your way at all. And these domestic terrorists have now gotten a pass and now feel more empowered than ever. Remember the guy that painted his face and put the horns on his head? They had no problem with a guy like that. First of all, they had no problem with a guy like that speaking for them. None of them said, that's a little bit weird. That's a little bit odd. We're not that way. None of them said that. They were proud to call this guy a patriot and a hostage and a hero. And I think he even ran for office out in Arizona, if I'm remembering the right guy. But here's what he posted over on the dumpster fire that is X. He puts, "I just got the news from my lawyer. I got a pardon, baby. Thank you, President Trump. Now I'm going to buy some other, guns. I love this country. God bless America. J6ers are getting released and justice has come. Everything done in the dark will come to light." Well, the problem I have with that quote is that everything that was done right out in broad daylight, and we all saw it. And we've all sat here and been gaslit for the last 4 years about what it is that we saw. We have had people try to insult our intelligence and tell us that's not what they meant. They were just there for a peaceful day. It was a day of peace and love and happiness, man. The summer of love didn't have nothing on it. It was the greatest day we've ever had. And they can't never make up their mind which way they want to spin it. That's what cracks me up about this whole thing. The entire time, 1 minute it was a day of love, and they were all just there to show their love for Trump and their unity, and they were all just singing songs and crying. And the next minute they had every right to paint up their faces like that. The next minute they had every right to put their feet on Pelosi's desk. The next minute they had every right to beat law enforcement over the head and kick down windows and break down doors. They had all those rights to do that 1 minute. And they circle back. It's because they're always trying to dodge accountability. So I have saw them go back and forth on this issue. And I do remember back when it first happened, before it happened, leading up to it, I talked to the guy who told me, and I quote, "Man, if they don't turn this thing around and give it back to Trump, if they don't give it back to Trump, you're going to see a level of redneck in this country that you've never seen before." And then when that happened and I seen him again and said, "Hey, what the hell was that?" "Oh, that wasn't us, man. No, that was Black Lives Matter and Antifa. We didn't have, that ain't the kind of people we are right there." And then when you pin them down on it, "Well, yeah, we had every right to. Well, it was a day of love. It was a day of peace. We're the party of Back the Blue. We're the party of law enforcement." No, they're the party of Donald Trump. And all this is about loyalty to Donald Trump. And I'm going to be doing more videos on this later because this isn't got anything to do with Trump forming an administration that's going to work within the confines of the government and within the confines of the way the law works. What this is finding people that are going to be loyal to him. So Trump needs to himself have people loyal to him to do his bidding. And that's why he felt like these people needed to be free. And he freed the worst of them after we've sat here and argued with people day in and day out that they said, "Oh, he would never free the worst of them." Well, he freed them all. Blanket pardon to them all. And now they feel empowered to go out and buy some, mother blanking guns. And Republicans are cool with it. They're cool with it because of their hatred for us, okay? Can we just get right down to that? They have a deep-rooted hate for us, and the reason they have such a hatred for us is because their ideology and their way of life has been dying for a long time. We have the more popular ideas. They just didn't resonate this go around with the voters, and we wasn't able to make people understand that the basic things in this world that they love and the things that they love to get to do every day of their life and the things that they live off of every day of their life was actually democratic, progressive, liberal, whatever you want to call it, ideas. They just got so caught up in the culture wars that that's where they put their attention. And a whole lot of people sat back because they wanted to look macho and look tough around their buddies and wouldn't speak up and say nothing because they didn't want to rock the boat. And I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus, but I have people in my own family who message me to say, yeah, I don't bring this up at Sunday dinner, but I agree with you, Brando. Well, that's good that you do. But until more people starts to speak up and speak out against this, we're going to be in this boat for a long time to come. And now we have a president who's all about revenge and retribution, and he freed the people that he knows will absolutely go to bat for him. And now what does that tell them? Time to go out and buy more. What does that tell anyone that was sitting back on the fence wishing they could jump in there and be part of it too? They can jump in there now and be part of it too. He just empowered every bit of that. He just gave every bit of that a microphone. This is way bigger than people realize that it is. There's a lot of people that are sitting back enjoying this video just because I want to see look on Brando's face. Let's talk about this. What you don't realize, and one day you will, is that I told you this stuff because deep down I actually cared about your stupid ass. Okay? I really did. And I was trying to simply point out that if you step out of line with this dude and with his people, if there ever comes a moment where you no longer agree, they will find a way to push you out, okay? You're not going to be part of the club anymore. You're only in the club when you're loyal to Donald Trump. You will only get his pardons and you will only get his blessings when you're loyal to him. And I really am glad. It's a great thing that Joe Biden pardoned his entire family. It's a great thing that he pardoned the J6 committee because it is obvious what Donald Trump is all about. He is doing exactly what he said that he was going to do. And like I said in the previous video, we definitely feel like we're player 456 of the Squid Game trying to say, we tried to tell y'all that this is what was going to happen. And I think that's been one of the most frustrating parts of this whole thing is I knew we were right years ago. I knew we were right from day one. At no point did I ever doubt that we were on the right side of history. I never doubted that. But we sat here and they just kept growing and they kept growing. And do you know why so many people truly goes to MAGA? And yes, a hatred is at the top of it. They can be their cruel self. But there's something more to it to me. They go there because it's a place where there's no accountability whatsoever. Look at all of Trump's cabinet picks. Look at the people he calls friends. And look at all the allegations that are in their closet. Look at all the things that they've been accused of doing or caught red-handed doing. Look at all those things. You go over to MAGA, you put on the hat, you show your loyalty to Trump, and you can get away with any of it. And there's people who just cannot stand to be fact-checked. They cannot stand to be questioned or proven wrong. They want to be able to say whatever they want to say in this world, and everyone just has to bow the knee to them. And that's why they love Trump so much, because he empowers them. And now he has absolutely blanket pardoned the absolute worst of them, and that tells the absolute worst of them, hey, we can get away with it now. We're absolutely free to do whatever we want to do. So, the next time they tell you they're for the rule of law, don't let them say it. Don't sit there and let them use law enforcement and the rule of law and the idea of backing the blue and the idea of supporting the Constitution and the rule of law. Don't let them say that those are their things, that those are their principles. Stand on what your principles are and tell them what you're all about, and remind them that the only principles they have is whatever Donald Trump told them to have on that day. And I can't imagine. I know there's a lot of division on our side. And I know people sometimes split up into camps and go off in different directions, and it's very frustrating. I always say getting people together on the left is like herding cats. But the one thing that I will say I like about being on this side is that I know that I'm going to disagree with some of my friends, and I know that I can disagree with the leader. I knew that I could disagree with Joe Biden and speak out, and I wasn't going to suddenly have the entire party come down on my head. I wasn't going to have every friend I had crucify me for it. Some of them might not agree with me, but we weren't in a cult that way. They are. And their loyalty isn't to that flag. It's not to the Bible. It's not to the Constitution. It's not to the rule of law. It's to Donald Trump. And he just gave a free pass to people who absolutely disgraced our Capitol. Don't ever let them tell you saw anything any different. And just think about the fact of the police officers who worked so hard to keep Donald Trump's inauguration safe. Some of those same people were there on January 6th. They worked to keep him safe again. And that's the way he repaid him. So, yeah, to the people that voted for this, I'm always going to be reminding you what you voted for. And I'm never going to let you stand on these ideas and these principles you have, because your only ideas and your only principles come straight from whatever Donald Trump tells you to have at that day, at that second. And I've sat back and watched people jump through the hoops of the mental gymnastics so much that I've just lost any and all respect for them.